Mark and Sarah Stampin' Retreat. Today we're going to be using this driving by stamp set to create 5 cards. This stamp set is in our celebration brochure, so that means that you can earn it for free when you spend £45 before the end of February on anything in our store. So that's this stamp set here, and you can see there's lots of cute ideas on here as to how to use it. We're going to do some different ones today, and I'm going to be using as well this Sunshine and Rainbows DSP, so that's this, and this coordinates with some really cute dies and stamps that are in the main catalogue. I'm just going to be using the papers from the Celebration catalogue today. So you get 48 sheets of 6x6 paper, and they're double-sided, and you get 12 different designs, so you get 4 sheets of each design. And again, this you can choose for free when you spend £45, but the rewards are cumulative. So if, for example, you spent £90 on the website, then you could choose 2 free gifts, £135 would be 3 free gifts, and so on. So those are really, really cute papers, and I'm going to be doing a whole video with this rainbow set soon, so look out for that. So the first card I'm going to make is a really simple one. I've got this gorgeous stripy paper from that rainbow pack, and that measures 4 3/4 inches square, and we're going to put that onto a 5-inch square card blank made out of thick basic white cardstock. And then this piece of basic white is 3 1/4 inches square. So I'm going to use this stamp with the presents on, and in order to use it I want to mount it. So you can use these stickers for mounting in case you've never mounted a cling stamp before. And the easiest way to do it is to take the backing off the sticker and then to place the stamp over the gap in the sticker and then pull that off, and that makes it clingy, so it'll cling to your block, and it also shows the image. So I'm going to be using this Celebrating You stamp set for the sentiment on this one. There are sentiments in the stamp set, but I wanted this one to be a birthday card because it's got the presents on top of the car. So I'm going to use this Happy Birthday from the Celebrating You stamp set. And the really nice thing about Celebration is that you can buy things like this that are really useful for your collection, like your kind of really lovely sentiment sets, basic shapes of dies, your glues, your cardstock, all that kind of thing, and then get fun stuff like cute stamps and colourful papers for free. So then you get a really nice kind of like mixture of things that you really need for your stash, along with some things that are really fun to use. So I'm going to use my Memento ink to stamp my Happy Birthday sentiment, and then I'm going to stamp the car over the top of it. So then the really useful thing, on the back of our paper packs you can see all of the colours that are in the papers, so then you know what colours you can use to go with it. So I've picked out a few of these colours. I've picked out So Saffron, Magenta Madness, Flirty Flamingo, Bermuda Bay and Misty Moonlight, and I've pulled out my stamping blends in those colours, and so that's what I'm going to use to colour my picture. And I'm also going to add in my dark basic black for the wheels. I'll do the bumpers with that as well. And maybe I'll just use the light basic black for just the middle. So then I'm going to use Bermuda Bay for the car. I'm just going to do a bit of shadow with the dark colour, and then I'll go over with the light colour. Now I'm going to use this bright magenta for the birthday. So these pens have like a brush end and this kind of nib end, So I like to use the nib end if I'm doing things like lettering, because it's easier like that, and the brush end if I'm kind of colouring bigger spaces. And then I want to do these presents like a whole load of different colours. So then I'm just going to glue my card together. And I'm just going to add this on with some dimensionals. So I've just got like the outsides of some dimensionals here, which I like using for these bigger pieces. There's our first cute card done. I really love how bright it is. So then for this next one, I'm going to make another square card. So I've got a 5 by 5 inch square Magenta Madness card blank. And then I've cut a 4 3/4 inch piece of some of that rainbow paper, which is really cool. And then these I've cut out with our layering circles dies. So this is another one of those things that if you don't have any layering circles in your collection, it's a nice time to kind of like get that kind of thing and be able to get something really useful and get something nice for free. So for example, you could put in layering circles, which are £33, but you do get 16 dies in there, so you get the kind of straight edges and the scalloped edges in there. So then you could maybe add in some cardstock and some adhesives and build up the things that you really need, and then get some things that are really fun to play with for free. So I'm going to use the camper van on this one. I'm going to stamp it on this circle. I'm going to use my black Memento ink again. Now on this one I'm going to use the Magenta Madness, So Saffron and the black. I'm just also going to use a little bit of the light pool party just to go inside the windows. Now I'm just going to heat emboss a sentiment onto some Magenta Madness cardstock. I think I'm going to use the Happy Birthday sentiment again. I'm just going to stamp that into the Versamark ink and pop it on here. And I'll pour over the white embossing powder. If you get any bits like that where I've just knocked it with the edge of the stamp, you can just get it off with your fingernail, paintbrush, something like that. I'm just going to grab my heat tool. And then I'm just going to cut a couple of the rainbows out of here as well, because I want to use those as kind of embellishments. So I'm just going to cut this sentiment down, so then I can glue this together to kind of make this cute, kind of slightly zany card. So I'm going to pop some dimensionals on the back of here. I'm going to put some on the back of my sentiment as well. I'm actually going to double it up at this side and then just put one layer at the other side, and that way it will be level, but it will be above this layer. And let's put that on there. So then that's all layered up. That looks really cute. So for my third card, I've got an A6 card blank. So that is 8 1/4 by 5 7/8 inches. Then this piece of basic black is 1/2 inch smaller than the card front. And this piece of crumb cake is 1/8 inch smaller than the piece of basic black. So you can see you just get a really small black border around the outside. And then I'm going to stamp these cards all the way over this piece of crumb cake cardstock. So then I'm going to use my watercolour pencils. So this is the set one of the watercolour pencils for this, because I really like the way that the watercolour pencils look on the crumb cake cardstock. So I'm just going to go through and colour these images with some of these pencils. Following my channel for a while, then you'll probably remember a very similar sheep card that I did, that I cased from the last celebration catalogue, and this is essentially the same, so it's kind of cased from the last celebration catalogue, but I just love the layout so much that I decided to use the same one again, but with corals this time. So I'm going to take the same happy birthday sentiment we've been using for all of these cards. And I'm just going to stamp that onto a piece of basic white cardstock. I'm going to colour in this bottom bit with the red pencil. So I'm just going to pop some little chevrons in each end of this. So then I've got this small black circle that I've cut from one of our layering circles dies. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue on the back of there and then layer it on that circle. And I'm just going to add a little bit of tape to the back. So that's our tear and tape. Now I'm going to use a bit of this cute denim ribbon. So I'm just going to attach this on there. Then I'm going to do like a little loop at the top. And then let it come down the other side. So I'm kind of attaching it with the tape at the back. And that's why I've used tape, because it's easier, I think, to attach ribbon with tape rather than glue. I might just trim that down just a little bit more. So let's layer the card up. Then I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back. And then I'm just going to add this down here. And that's our third card finished. So then for my fourth card, I'm going to use one of these Stitch So Sweetly dies. So it's actually the second one down of the scallop stitched rectangles. You also get these shapes in the set as well. So it's a really useful one. I've used those to cut out this rectangle. I've got an A6 card blank, and I've got a piece of the rainbow paper that I've cut to fit the top of that. So I'm just going to glue that on. Don't you love how bright this is? I think that I will probably use these mostly for kids cards. So it's really nice to have like the really bright colours. And don't get me wrong, my dad will probably get them as well. I know a lot of children that are into cars, so they'll get them as well. So I'm just going to stamp my car in Memento Black ink in this corner here. And then I'm going to stamp that happy birthday sentiment that we've been using just in this top corner here. So I'm going to do the car and the sentiment in Bermuda Bay to tie in with the background. Now a bit of the delightful party from the windows. And use the basic black duo again for the wheels. And then let's bring in some colour for the present. So we've got Magenta Madness again, which is really bright. And then let's do some Misty Moonlight in yellow as well. The yellow is the So Saffron. So then I'm just going to very simply pop that up on some dimensionals. Then that's got that card finished. So for this card, let's just stamp one of each of the cards on some spare basic white cardstock. Actually, that might look a bit funny because they're going different ways. So actually, I think I'm going to have two of these and one of the camper vans, because this one's going the opposite way to the others, so it doesn't really look right, does it? So I'm going to colour these two on this one. Let's have some nice Magenta Madness balloons. And then I use Misty Moonlight for the car. I'll use this like pool party for the windscreen and the windows and the camper van. I'll use the black for the wheels and the bumpers. And then I'm going to go for the So Saffron and Bermuda Bay on the camper van. So then I'm just going to cut those all out. So then I've got a DL card, or it's roughly DL size. It's 8 1/4 inches by 7 3/4 inches, scored and folded in half, and that's made out of pool party cardstock. And then I've got this piece of smoky slate cardstock that's 1 1/2 inches by 8 1/4 inches. And I'm going to glue that onto the bottom. So this is going to be our road. So here I've got some thin strips of white cardstock that I've cut to 1 inch long, and I'm going to make that into kind of like the centre line of the road. And then the cars are going to be driving along the road. So I'm going to use the same Happy Birthday sentiment again, and the Minto black ink, and I'm going to pop it up here. And then I'm going to colour it with my Misty Moonlight. And you might have noticed that I made a bit of a mistake here, and I just caught the stamp a little bit on there. So I'm going to add some of these adhesive backed hexagons, and then I can just cover that over. I think maybe the black ones might look quite nice. So I think that's always a good idea. If you've made a mistake, just cover it over. I feel like you can always find something to cover it over with. And then I'm going to grab some dimensionals, and I'm going to stick them to the back of the cars. I decided I didn't want the bigger hexagon there, so I'm going to put that slightly smaller one on instead. It still covers my mistake. So I'm really pleased with how that one's turned out. So let's bring in the others. So there's our collection of cute cards for today. I really hope that you enjoyed my video. If you did, I'd appreciate you clicking like below, and you can also press subscribe if you'd like to see future videos. If you press the bell button and select all, then YouTube will also notify you when I've got a new video available. All of the products that I've used for today's video are listed in the description below, and you can also find a host code there. So if you pop the host code into your basket before you check out, then I'll send you a free gift after the end of the month. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.